The most important day of my life involves my underwear. The fateful day happened in the tail end of 2013. I was working for the Chicago Tribune, which is a thing called a newspaper. If you've never been inside a newsroom, let me describe it to you. Imagine an insurance office, except with shorter cubicle walls and sad people everywhere. Now imagine that everyone makes less money and is sadder. There. You now know how every newsroom looks. If you want to know your pecking order at a major American newspaper, the desk location they give you is a great indicator. If you're placed near windows with a view of the city, you're adored. If you're slammed into a windowless space with faulty air conditioning, you're probably not well liked. As for me, I was placed directly next to the men's restroom. Day in and day out, grumpy newspapermen would open the door 3 feet from me and do their business, with me basically guarding the door, like a member of the Night's Watch, except instead of defending the wall, I was defending farts. So now you know what my professional world was like. Personally, I was in even worse shape. Literally. I was overweight, which is the nice way of saying I was fat. I know it may be hard to comprehend that because you've looked at my author photo and you're thinking how gorgeous I am. For those of you trying to do the math and figure out whether I'm a 7 or an 8, I'm actually a 7.5, which, technically, rounds up to an 8. But back in 2013, I weighed 310 pounds, about 80 more than I do as of this writing. It was like I had a golden retriever shoved under my shirt. Except it couldn't play fetch, nobody wanted to pet it, and it was a bit hairier. I was constantly sick. It seemed like every month I caught some new cold or developed bronchitis, and one time I had walking pneumonia, which led to a hazy trip to a nearby health clinic. I inquired why it was called walking pneumonia, and because our healthcare system in America is so great, the doctor shrugged, gave me a pamphlet, and told me to go to bed. To recap, I was working in a depressing office. I was 300 plus pounds. I was sick all the time. And on this particular day, I was forced to sit in a meeting that was a waste of everyone's time. For those who have worked in an office, you know that a meeting is where productivity goes to die. And if you've read the Old Testament, you know that the first meeting of all time was in the Garden of Eden between Eve and the serpent. So, meetings were literally created by the devil. Whatever this meeting was about has been lost to the ages. But at some point during this work gathering, I crossed my legs underneath the conference room table, and somehow, because of the laws of physics and fabric, I did the most unoffice-like thing ever. I split my pants. All I knew was I had moved my legs, and suddenly the world behind me had become quite drafty. I don't know if you've ever split your pants during a meeting at the Chicago Tribune, but it's hard to concentrate on anything afterward. All you're thinking is, oh crap, I split my pants, and I work at the Chicago Tribune, a place that gives me health insurance. I reviewed my options. My first instinct was damage control. I couldn't let anyone know I ripped a hole in my britches. People at newspapers love to gossip. I would never be able to live that down. Knowing my odds, it would end up in the company-wide newsletter. Next, I had to figure out how to solve my pants problem. Perhaps I could run down the street to Target to pick up a new pair. And if I did that, I'd end up buying 27 more things. But I would need an excuse for why I had to leave work to shop at a store that's the height of Midwestern luxury. I imagined how that exchange would go with my manager. "Boss, I gotta head out for a minute," I would say. "How come?" he would ask. "I split my pants and my underwear is showing." If you heard that, would you give me a raise? At the end of the meeting, everyone got up to leave, and I stayed in my seat. The conference room was tiny, and the table in the middle took up 90% of the space. People were forced to awkwardly walk behind me, scrunched between my chair and the wall. Their faces showed their displeasure. As he was leaving the cramped room, my boss finally said, "You, okay, dude?" He was a cool boss and called me dude sometimes. And I answered, much too fast, "Oh, yes, I am fine. I just need to make a phone call. Just a quick phone call. Gotta make a phone call. Everything is fine. Phone call. Gotta make one." My boss responded, "Sure, dude." And he left. See? There's that dude again. Real cool guy, that boss.